as the Agnipath scheme is concerned, saying that there will be no rollback. There has been a call that was given out for Bharat Bandh, but so far the call for Bharat Bandh doesn't seem to be receiving much support. In fact, we're going to try and go across to various locations in the national capital to give you a sense of what's happening. Right now we have been reporting from Patna in Bihar, where things seem to be completely under control. Also, the same that's being reported from various parts of Uttar Pradesh, where things look like under control. On your screens right now, pictures from New Delhi as well as West Bengal, Kolkata over there, where traffic appears to be normal. In Punjab also, we are seeing a normal Monday morning. Of course, security has been heightened across all these states to make sure that the situation does not go out of hand. In Delhi, we are seeing large traffic snarls. That's because roadblocks have been set up in both locations, on both the national highways that come into Delhi, the one from Gurugram as well as the other from Noida. But Amritsar and Jalandhar, those were two spots where there was some concern. Those seem to be peaceful. Also, advisories being issued by the Punjab police to make sure that protests remain under control. In Bihar, we have seen a large amount of action being taken by the police. They've booked several of those coaching centers for inciting protesters. Also in Madhya Pradesh, we were getting reports from Bhopal, where everything appears to be under control. There were some reports of violence on the first day of the protest, but after that, the situation remains calm. The army on its part, the armed forces, the military have set the record straight. They have said that there will be no rollback. In fact, they've also announced a schedule for the recruitment process for all the three services, which begins later. Also, what we have seen is the armed forces have come on to say that there has been some amount of miscommunication about the scheme, and that is what has led to these widespread protests. But currently, the Bharat Bandh call that was given out and supported by various political parties does not seem to really be getting any support on the ground in various parts of the country. Aneri is bringing us the latest from Hyderabad. Aneri, in Telangana, we did see a certain amount of protests, specifically in Secunderabad. But after that, give us a sense of what's happening today. Are there any takers for this Bandh call today?
Well, Nupur, we have been seeing the situation seems to be normal. The Bandh call which has been given seems to looks like a flop show, but yet we also see that there was a massive protest which took place on the 17th of June at the Secunderabad railway station, where there were near about 2,000 agitators who jumped onto the platform at the Secunderabad railway station. And also we have been seeing that they came with sticks, stones, and started damaging the railway property. And also now we see that the ruling TRS party has been slamming the central government over this Agnipath scheme, and they say that this scheme is not good for the youth, and so they have to roll back the scheme. But we also see that AIMIM chief Owaisi also has been sitting out at the central government, questioning the central government and Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the scheme, over the Agnipath scheme. And also he mentioned about how the lockdown of COVID and the demonstration had led the youth of the country in a lot of troubles. And also at the same time, we see that the situation, the Bharat Bandh call which has been given, seems to be like a flop show. We see that the situation here in Hyderabad is completely under control. There's a police deployment at various locations, and also we see that if any sort of untoward situation takes place, then police officials will immediately spring into action.
All right. So that's the latest that we are getting from Telangana. Currently, the situation over there remains calm. Security on high alert across the state to make sure that things don't go out of hand. Similar pictures that we are getting right now from Jharkhand as well. Jharkhand did see a large number of protests. Delhi is where we are seeing a huge amount of traffic snarls, but that's also because there are several roadblocks that have been set up. Harsha is reporting on the situation in Delhi. Harsha, tell us more, please.
Exactly, no, but as we all know that today Bharat Bandh has been called by several groups, but in several states we clearly seen in cities where Bharat Bandh has been called, because in more than 10 states we saw that violent protests erupted after Defence Ministry introduced this new Agnipath scheme. But today the effect of Bharat Bandh is not being seen in many states as well, because in Noida, Ghaziabad, if we talk about national capital, the traffic is smooth, the markets and shops are running very smoothly. All have opened the market association have opened the markets, and they have clearly not been seen on the roads as well. Yes, protesters are trying to create violence also. Therefore, blockades and barricades have been done at several places in national capital as well as in Delhi NCR as well. Nupur, I would like to show you the visuals, because right now I'm reporting from national capital. Various places, barricades and police officials can be seen who are in full alert, and not only in national capital but the area surrounding national capital, the road which leads from Gurugram to Delhi, or road which comes from Noida to Delhi, and the Yamuna Expressway and the national highways have also the road which goes from Delhi to NH24, which goes towards Meerut, and different parts of Uttar Pradesh as well, which connects Saharanpur, Bareilly as well. All the roads, blockades and barricades have been created by police officials so that protesters couldn't gather, and the violent protest which erupted, which we saw with the protesters turned called for sit-in dharnas, the effigy was burned, the vehicles were burned, the railway station and bus station but were vandalized by protesters. Such visuals should not be seen today. Therefore, CRPF and para forces have been deployed at many places, and therefore the huge traffic jam could also be seen, because in the office hours there was huge traffic jam. Police was checking one-on-one vehicles, the cars were being checked, the drivers were being asked, and the RC and license was also being checked, because the suspicious activity could clearly be seen in the border areas surrounding Ghaziabad, Noida and Gurugram, and police today didn't wanted any such activities. Therefore, Section 144 has been imposed, and the places where much violent protests turned out, like in the Danapur area of Bihar, or we talk about Patna, Ranchi, Jharkhand as well, in those places internet has also been suspended, so that the messages on social media which could create ruckus or which could incite the protesters, such message should not be circulated. And also the miscreants who were involved in the day before yesterday's protests all have been arrested. In Uttar Pradesh, more than 250 protesters have already been arrested, and military have made very clear that the youths who will be involved in the violent protests, they have no space for them. There is no place in military without or with Agnipath scheme. There's no place on the people, on the youths against whom FIR would be registered. Therefore, also we are seeing that many youths who are being called by several political groups or the small groups for today's Bharat Bandh, today they are not being involved or not clearly being seen on these streets, and police officers are also on full alert. Cyber team is very active, and today CDRs and cyber location of miscreants are also being tracked. Yes, back to studio.
All right, so Harsha, bringing us up to speed with what's happening in New Delhi. We are seeing traffic snarls and jams over there, but we are told that there are huge roadblocks that have been set up. But apart from that, in Kolkata, visuals of which are playing out for you on your screens, everything seems normal. Commercial establishments are working normally. That's the report that we are getting from all across the country. In Punjab too, daily life hasn't been hit by this call for Bharat Bandh, even though the Punjab police have been on high alert over threatened protests that could take place. In Maharashtra, in Mumbai, the commercial capital of the country, we are seeing daily life remains unaffected. Similarly, in Patna, since the morning, of course, we haven't really seen any response to that Bandh in Patna at least. But apart from that, train services from Bihar do remain affected. But the railways, of course, are looking into trying and fixing the situation over there. Do remember that arson was reported from various railway stations over the weekend. Also, we're going to get you a sense of what's happening in other parts of the country. In Jharkhand, also things appear to be normal as of now. Jharkhand, there was a call that was given, and we saw a lot of trains being disrupted over there. But for now, in Jharkhand, also the situation continues to remain normal. Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal, we were getting reports this morning, appears to be calm. Also, the police have acted in Madhya Pradesh against those who allegedly were involved in the protests. We did see some amount of protests at the beginning of the protests on Friday, but thereafter the situation remains largely under control. And in Hyderabad, in Telangana, where we saw some amount of protests in Secunderabad, and there was arson reported from the Secunderabad railway station, the situation appears calm now. The Telangana government has put in place security measures to make sure that the situation does not go out of hand. In Jalandhar as well as Ludhiana too, where we saw protests initially, we are told that everything is normal. Okay, I'm going to go across to Prakash, who's reporting from Patna. Prakash, give us the latest update in terms of the response that this bandh is receiving. What's an update on the response that this bandh call is receiving in Bihar? All right, I don't think we've got Prakash yet. We're going to try and get him just a bit. But we have, of course, seen a lot of traffic jams being reported from the Delhi-Gurugram Expressway. Traffic jams, of course, follow a call for the Bharat Bandh that was given against the Agnipath scheme. A massive jam has been seen near the expressway. But there is a large amount of roadblocks that have been put in place, and that's the reason for the traffic jam.